I've been contacted by an insider at Ubisoft with exclusive news breaking on Smash JT once again that Assassin's Creed Shadows is getting another delay. And the delay that it's getting is going to be for a couple more months, if my insider is to be believed. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. And I was scrolling through my email trying to get through everything, and holy crap, did I find a banger today with someone who works at Ubisoft reaching out to me to share some insanely damning info regarding the troubled and very well documented development cycle of everyone's favorite game to clown on, Assassin's Creed Shadows. According to my source, who's currently at Ubisoft, as I can't really say, the game is headed for another delay, and this time it's being delayed until May. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out SmashJT.com for the full article breaking down the latest news of Assassin's Creed Shadows being delayed until May 2025. Oh, and real quick, before anybody rags on me for the t-shirt, my wife got it for me for Valentine's Day, and I promised her I'd wear it in my next video. So here I am wearing it in this breaking news video that everyone's going to be watching, and yeah, like and subscribe. Assassin's Creed Shadows is facing yet another delay, the game this time being pushed back so far that we're now over half a year past the point of the original release date of November 2024. Imagine how much additional money Ubisoft is spending just to keep this game afloat and in development, chugging along as the car is basically breaking down and they're just pushing it on the highway at this point. This isn't the first time Assassin's Creed Shadows has found itself in any kind of hot water, and actually at this point it's not even close to it. From the beginning, the game's been plagued with delays, controversies, developmental setbacks from reportedly a slew of contractors and first-time employees, but whoa! The latest twist now revolves around a supposed pushback from cultural officials regarding the depiction and destruction of religious shrines, which I've seen a good amount of people on X take serious issue with and how it was so disrespectful to Japanese culture. Apparently Ubisoft is taking this to heart now and saying, yeah, that's probably not a great look for us to be doing that in a game based in feudal Japan, having our main protagonist destroying sacred religious sites. Yeah, you don't want to do that kind of stuff. This kind of controversy feels eerily similar to the other missteps Ubisoft has made in the past that I've covered in great detail on this channel, where they've failed to properly represent or respect cultures that they claim to celebrate in their games. Almost like no matter where they step, Ubisoft is going to find that rake and hit themselves in the face with it. My insider reached out to me, and while I don't want to go into much detail, I will say I don't know this individual, but I have personally verified who they are by the name that they gave me and the credentials that they showed. So take this what you will from an insider letting me know the situation. And the information they gave me is going to be heavily redacted because I don't want to give out any information as to who they are or a way to find them. But the information that I do give you guys here is going to most likely blow your mind. Well, actually, it probably won't. It's Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed. Is anyone really surprised? I am redacted, with Ubisoft redacted as a redacted, working mainly on redacted, which has its problems with redacted. And I know that's a lot of redactions, but this person was very forthcoming with everything that they did there to make sure I believed them and understood who they were. But they continued saying, I am contacting you regarding an upcoming and unannounced delay with Assassin's Creed Shadows. This is mainly due to complaints from cultural officials around the destruction of shrines, but also to patch numerous bugs. The delay should be announced in about a week, and it will probably be until May. So they're saying probably May. It might even be pushed past that date, which is crazy enough in its own right until you take a step back and realize, yeah, Ubisoft really isn't ready to launch this game. If this insider's account is accurate, the company's explanation to the employees claims that the delay is going to be due to cultural sensitivities and bug fixing. But that might just be nothing more than a convenient cover story to the people at the game company working at Ubisoft, thinking that this is something that they can fix and work on to get out the door, when in reality, it might be something completely different. A lot of people, including myself, are speculating that the delay is actually more towards selling them to Tencent and not having a game published because it's worth more before publishing than after having it go out to the open market and completely fall flat on its face. There's been growing speculation that Yasuke, the controversial co-main character who's become the lightning rod for criticism within the gaming community, has seen his role drastically reduced. What began as a key figure of DEI injection into Assassin's Creed Shadows has now reportedly scaled so far backwards to the point where he's not even required in any of the key quests in the game anymore. This apparent attempt to sidestep more backlash from people seems like it's a desperate move by Ubisoft to try and salvage the game's reception and avoid any further controversy once the game releases, assuming it does get released. On the other hand, I could easily argue that the real reason why the delay is there might be far more strategic. Considering all the recent speculation about the potential buyout by Tencent, it isn't really hard for anyone to imagine that Ubisoft's delaying Shadows for more important business reasons could ultimately be why they're doing it. An unreleased, in-progress game could potentially hold way more value in acquisition negotiations than a finished published title, especially if that published title doesn't do very well when it launches. If Tencent is actually prepping to take over Assassin's Creed Shadows, it would be worth far more as an unreleased property under the development at that point than a finished product where they just purchased Ubisoft and they don't really have anything worth of value, and they have a game that just came out and fell flat on its face and nothing really of excitement after that. But my source continues, and they said, sharing this with you as the game is in a not ready state and disrespectful to Asian culture. Although I work with some good people, the team is a mess. This is coming from an insider at Ubisoft, fully coming forward and saying, yeah, there's some really good people I work with, but at this point, the game is a complete buggy, broken mess, and the team that we have isn't any better. Regardless of the reasoning, the truth is that the game is quickly becoming the laughingstock of the entire gaming community. Actually, we could even argue that the game's already been there for the better part of the last year or so. What was once a highly anticipated entry into the Assassin's Creed franchise has devolved into nothing more than a series of embarrassing delays, internal chaos, diversity, equity, and inclusion injections, and mounting criticisms from both players and cultural advocates alike. What's the point of a consultancy agency if they can't even get the basics right on what they're hired for in the first place? All they've done is ruin the livelihoods of the actual hard-working developers out there, because now the developers are the ones dealing with the backlash from the community of things that the consultants that Ubisoft was bringing on were supposed to take care of in the first place. So all these things are falling on the developers, which sure, there are bugs that the developers should be taking care of, but the cultural things, those are the things that they should have meetings and talking about what is good, what should be a part of this game. We shouldn't be destroying religious sites in the game when we're talking about feudal Japan, and this is something Yasuke, even if he did exist, would never actually do, so it doesn't make any sense in the game world itself. And I could see both sides to that story, and I'm not going to get into it here, but I understand there's competing viewpoints where people are saying it's a video game, he should be allowed to do whatever he wants, and then people saying, yeah, but there are things that you need to be respectful about, and religious sites in a game of feudal Japan is one of those. But I don't want people to get lost in the sauce of what's actually transpiring here, in my humble opinion. I'm of the belief that this is something that has far more to do with the business aspect of the internal spiraling downward turmoil that Ubisoft has become and trying to be acquired or purchased by Tencent, where they stated on Insider Gaming, for now, the negotiation halt seems to be a strategy both sides are playing. Tencent will continue to snap up shares and raise its stake, At the same time, the Guillemot brothers will want to wait until late February to early March to reignite negotiations, as Ubisoft is set to release the highly anticipated Assassin's Creed Shadows on February 14th, and this was before it got delayed the first time, but it still holds true that when you pair it with the business aspect of this, it is the perfect puzzle piece of fitting right into the place that it would behoove Ubisoft to drag this out longer if it's going to take longer in the negotiations. The article continued, an Assassin's Creed Shadows failure gives Tencent more opportunities to increase its stake at a lower share value. Conversely, a successful launch gives the Guillemot brothers more negotiating power to head into further talks. And I think we can all look at what they've shown so far in the gameplay, mix that with the insider info talking about how this is a complete garbage show behind the scenes and the team is a mess right now, that Ubisoft is looking at the situation. They understand completely that the game is just not ready, and even if it were to come out at this point, it would fall flat on its face in the grand scheme, and they'd rather just keep kicking that can down the road in hopes that Tencent just cracks under the pressure of waiting at some point before the game releases. Ubisoft has yet to come out and comment on this rumor, of course, but if the announcement is going to only be a week away from me posting this video, we won't have to wait very long for any kind of confirmation. One thing's clear to everyone: Assassin's Creed Shadows is in serious trouble, and Ubisoft's current trajectory doesn't inspire much confidence in anybody at all. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information, check out smashjt.com for the full article. I will link it in the description below. If you appreciate what I'm doing, hit that join button. Huge shout out to the insider that was brave enough to reach out to me with this information. Genuinely appreciate it. If you guys like what I'm doing here, hit that join button. And as always, you stay smashing.
Hold on a second. Hello,
Oh,
buddy. Hello.
hello.
Come here. Come here. Come over here.
He's not sure.
He's not sure. We're not cool like that yet.
Smash